Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode number 73 of the Sports Blitz. Yes, folks, it is a very special episode tonight. And as always, I hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm Robbie. Doug is here as well. Doug, is good to see you. How are you tonight, buddy?
Oh yes, I'm here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Doing great, Robbie. Very excited about this episode that we're about to do, and it's our anniversary episode. I'm really excited. It's a very special episode, and with a very special guest too.
Yes, and to sort of set the scene before we bring on our special guest, as Doug was just saying, we did celebrate an anniversary. Actually, yesterday was 4 years to the day that we released our very first episode of the Sports Blitz, and how time has gone by and how things have changed. And I think the first time we did this, we were talking about the Patriots 28-3 Super Bowl comeback against the Falcons, just to sort of show you how long it's been that we've been doing this show. But yeah, it's been 4 years, which is amazing. And before I introduce our special guest, I did want to ask Doug, just sort of what are your thoughts on, again, 4 years of the Sports Blitz?
Excuse me. I think it's crazy that we've done 4 years already. It's been we've had a whole bunch of different kinds of things. We've morphed into something that was we started really small, and we've morphed into what we are today. So we're looking at past episodes and we're trying to get better, and now we've got guests on, and we've got things are just going so well, and just looking forward to it. It's been a great past. It's been a great 4 years, and just looking forward to the future.
Absolutely. And speaking of guests, obviously over the last year especially, we've had the privilege of having on some superb guests. We've had a lot of fun doing that and sort of bringing that into our show. And one of those guests, who was actually our very first guest here on the Sports Blitz, and actually is currently the far leader in the clubhouse in terms of most guest appearances on the Sports Blitz, marking his fourth time on the Sports Blitz tonight. Our buddy Kyle is back. Kyle, thank you so much for being here for this special episode. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. Thank you guys so much for having me back on. This is great. I'm so happy to be on so many times in this show. I love being on this show. I love talking to you guys. You guys have such a great setup. So every time you guys invite me, I'm always there pretty much. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
And Kyle, by the way, is the beloved co-host of another show with me, On a Couch Talking Sports. You should definitely watch it. Shameless plug. Doug has been Doug actually holds the mark for most number of guest appearances on a Couch Talking Sports, and so it's only fitting that Kyle holds the mark for most number of guest appearances on the Sports Blitz. So there's kind of some crossover there.
It's like the trifecta,
Yeah, exactly. But everybody has to watch.
So now all you two have to do is start a show of your own, and then I have to be the longest guest on it. Then we'll completely complete the trifecta. The Doug Kyle spinoff coming soon, folks.
Everybody has to watch On the Couch Talking Sports, because it's really, really cool. These guys talk about all kinds of things, and it's really, really cool.
Some not.
Some sports, some not, but still, it's really very cool show, and you guys gotta check it out.
Well, thank you, and yes, we definitely enjoy doing it, much like I definitely enjoy doing this show.
And my bill is in the mail.
Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Doug. Shameless plug alert. But before we sort of dive in here, Doug, I actually wanted to sort of go to you first here, because obviously, like I said, this is our 4-year anniversary special. And so I wanted to take the folks at home sort of deeply down a little bit the history of the Sports Blitz, and sort of how it came about 4 years ago. So, Doug, I kind of want to turn it over to you here for a minute. Just sort of give us a little sort of synopsis of the history of the Sports Blitz and, like I said, how it came about?
Sure. First, I think we should kind of let everybody know that Robbie and I have been friends for quite a long time now, and we met at Rivers Day Camp, which we have our Rivers Day Camp episode. Guys, gotta check out. It's really fun. A lot of Rivers Day Camp episodes.
Check out.
Yeah, it's awesome. And just trying to keep Rivers alive and bringing back people. And met Robbie at Rivers, and we're texting sports back and forth and to each other, and really have this connection with sports. And Robbie has been really kind enough to be able to, when he has tickets to different sporting events, typically throughout the years,
mainly BC,
mainly Boston College. It's been either football or basketball, so typically. And been to BC football with him too.
Yeah, that's true.
So we went 4 years ago. We went to a Boston College Eagles versus Louisville Cardinals game, with Rick Pitino being on the other side.
I know. He was walking through that door on that day.
He was, and he actually that was not a good game for Boston College.
No, not at all.
But what was good about it was we were just kind of sitting there and we were talking about different things, and then I think Robbie, if I remember correctly, and I was trying to research this in my head a little bit, trying to figure out what we talked about that day, which is 4 years ago, and we actually should have taped it on Zoom. We would have been better. And
did Zoom even exist 4 years ago?
I know. I'm just saying, it would have been great to record that conversation. But I think most of the conversation had to do with, I went to Emerson and did a sports show there, and a whole bunch of guys just talking sports on the radio. And it was really fun. And
by the way, Doug and Kyle both sort of hold the connection of both having their own shows on college radio stations. I just wanted to sort of throw that out.
Yeah, definitely. And real fun. I did a music show too, and was a sports director, and just really, loved being there. And we just started talking, and Robbie just asked me a question. He said, "So, how did you get into it? How did you do it? How did you come about? How did this come about?" And I told him I was, part of the radio station, and I did a little tryout and blah, blah, blah. So we went into this whole thing. And then we were watching the game for a little while. I don't really know why we were watching the game for a little while. And then
I probably had my head buried in my hands.
Yeah. I had to wake Robbie up because I think it was because it was like you could hear a pin drop in it, because it was obviously.
I think by the end there was more Louisville cheering.
We were actually rooting for Louisville at the end. No, I'm just kidding.
So Robbie was. That's okay though.
So I turned to Robbie, and you guys were already doing On the Couch. You had been doing On the Couch for a long time, and I just turned to Robbie and I said, "Why don't we do a show?" And Robbie's eyes just lit up. He was like, wait a minute, this could be a good idea. Wait a minute, how do we put this together? So we started talking about it, and then we were just like, let's do this. So we decided to get together, mostly at Robbie's house. And so we got together, and we decided to start out with really simple, easy, not video, but audio, and we recorded on SoundCloud, and we recorded some episodes, and it was super fun. We switched off with co-hosting. We co-host, but we switched off hosting each show. So the way I see it, Robbie, is that there were two things that fueled how we did stuff. Number one was On the Couch, talking sports, talking whatever, because that's what you guys do, is don't just talk sports, talk everything. And the second thing was our love for sports and our friendship. So those are the things that kind of put everything together.
Definitely. I completely agree. And it's been, like I said, a great 4-year experience, even, during the time of COVID. It's sort of been one of the bright spots, I know, for me, is, each week being able to, come on and record these episodes. We've dealt with, issues with, you know, technology and stuff like that, which by the way we're dealing with tonight, folks. A little bit of a behind the scenes look here.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah, believe me, if these walls could talk. But what I wanted to do, we've had a lot of great episodes of this show and a lot of great memories so far, just over the first 4 years and the first 73 episodes. I kind of wanted to sort of dive a little bit into some of our favorite memories from the show so far. What I wanted to start with Kyle from sort of a guest perspective. You know, again, being a 4-time guest on the show, Kyle, just wanted to ask you first off, what have been some of your favorite memories from your appearances thus far here on the Sports Blitz?
Well, just in general, I just always love having just like general conversations with you guys. Like that, first off, like that's probably one of my top memories just overall. Just like I just love talking to you guys. Like no matter whatever you guys like bring up, whatever you guys talk about, whether it's about even when we talked about movies, sports, anything like that, you guys just have such a really good just rapport with, and like I could tell you guys are really good with guests and everything. And whenever someone comes in, even for a person like me who doesn't know as much sports as you guys are incredibly welcoming. So I just wanted to just give a good shout out for that. That like just general conversations, you know, that
well,
really
you're very easy to get along with, and you're very easy to have on. So
well, some of our production, you know, talks. I mean, you know, we'll get to that in a little bit, but you know, Robbie and I don't just go on and just go willy-nilly. We do have production meetings, even if it's through texting or talking on the phone. But we do have these production meetings, and what we try to do when a guest comes on, especially you. I mean, we'll just talk about you. We know that you're not proficient when it comes to sports. So when you know some stuff about sports because you follow it a little bit here and there, but maybe not as much as Robbie and I, and that's fine. It's not a problem. There are some people that don't, and that's not a problem. What we want to do, what we want to try to do, and what we try to do with guests is try to go with what they know. And so when Robbie and I talk about you coming on, we're like, okay, so what could we do? Okay, so what is Kyle like? We list a whole bunch of stuff. He knows more about, you've known him longer than I have. I've known you. So there's certain things I know and certain things I don't know. So Kyle, you know, Robbie will go, oh, he likes this, this, and this. And I said, oh, yeah, that's right. He likes that. And wait a minute, he likes Marvel too. So let's talk about movies. And let's talk about, I mean, we try to make guests as comfortable as possible with what they're good at. Instead of hammering them every 5 seconds about, you know, talking sports with you and talking real in depth about all kinds of stuff, we're trying to make sure that you're comfortable by talking about what you're comfortable talking about. So that's kind of how we do it, and we do that with every guest, everybody that comes on. So that's kind of how we do it.
Yeah, like I just love that. Like I could really tell that when like every time I come on. And that was the other thing I wanted to get into too. I love doing when we did, you know, those couple episodes when we did like the trivia matches. I love doing that. It's so much fun. It's just like I just like because I like, you know, obviously, yeah, like, you know me, I love talking about movies and stuff like that. But also I learned a lot of stuff too about like, you know, you guys have like, I remember we had some like really cool trivia questions, and like some of the ones that you guys asked, I was like, whoa, like I had no idea. So it's like not only is it fun, but also I learned a lot of stuff too, just by like going through the trivia and everything. And I love trivia. I'm a big trivia guy. I love doing like, you know, back obviously when bars used to be open, I used to like going to trivia night there. So yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you know, just having you on for, you know, first 3 times, now 4th time. I mean, I feel like sometimes I think we actually have, I mean, we have a great time on this episode, but some of our talks that we have sort of off air are definitely quite humorous as well, just because we're just going off on just whatever. So yeah, no, it definitely is a really fun time, and I think that's sort of been one of the biggest, you know, sort of jumping into sort of my favorite memories, sort of piggybacking off that, is being able to sort of branch out and have guests on. I think, I mean, hey, listen, I've really enjoyed, like, Doug and I, getting together or through Zoom, having sort of our own episodes where just the two of us talking. We've had some great times, some really funny moments, like when I went on a rant about baseball rules, or when Doug couldn't remember the name of the Bruins head coach.
I mean, you and me both, Doug.
We've had our moments.
Yeah, just some of the times when we go completely off the rails is classic sound and video. But I think some of my favorite moments have been the guests. I mean, that we have had on this show. I mean, Jamie Rice, Matt Noon, Mike Riley, Matt Noonan, Kyle, our Rivers episodes of Colin, George, Andrew, Stu, Will, Dan, Drew, last episode. I mean, Donna, how can I forget Donna? It's just been an incredible run of just, people that we might not have, really been able to have on otherwise. And while it's in other aspects, it's frustrating, that people, we can't get together, in person, and socialize. This, Doug and I were talking about this the other night. This has actually opened up, surprisingly, a lot of doors for us in the podcasting game, because of the ability now to really connect with guests through these platforms. And it's been a ton of fun. I can't wait to do even more of it. Like I said, I get excited every single week when we go on to do these shows, just like with On a Couch Talking Sports.
Yeah.
It's a really blast to do, and it truly is sort of a bright light, in these times for me. So just the last year has just provided so many great memories for me when it comes to the show and the evolution of this show over the 4 years in general. And so, Doug, I wanted to ask you, just sort of what were some of your favorite memories? I know Colin and I just sort of talked about ours, but what were some of your favorite memories from, even from the past year, the past 4 years, whatever, wherever you want to go with this? What are your sort of thoughts on favorite memories?
I think my favorite memories really start with how we have morphed. We started out this little small little SoundCloud version of the Sports Blitz, and all of a sudden
the OG version.
The OG version, right? Exactly. I mean, the unfortunately the COVID version, but the this has brought us this positive feeling, this positive aspect of what we're going through right now. It's not positive; it's negative. It's a horrible situation, but we've been able to we have seen just like there. We have been able to be creative in trying to figure out how we can continue the show without actually being together, without seeing each other physically. So that's the first thing, how we have really put a lot more in every show, even when we were doing them before, even 3 years ago when we first started. We'd always come out with an outline. We always had an outline. So we started out just kind of doing outline stuff and just kind of doing the show that way.
I got
he's got tonight's outline, and then we add to it. What I like is the fact that it's not just Robbie saying, "Oh, I'm taking over tonight," and you don't have any input. I like the fact that we work together to make the episode the way it's supposed to be. When we have a guest on, when we first had our first guest, I know we were very nervous because we didn't really know how it was going to go. We had no idea.
Our first guest, by the way, is sitting right below us.
Right, exactly.
We're sitting right on our screen here. Yeah, but he's below for me. Yeah, but you get my point.
Definitely. Yeah. We didn't know how it was going to be, and we tried to figure out how we can make it fun. Number one, make it fun. Number two, to make sure that the guest is comfortable with our format, because I know even Drew told me a day before he was really super nervous. And he wasn't nervous about going on a Zoom. He's been on Zooms with me the last year because I worked with him. So it's not Zoom that was the issue. It was knowing what we were going to talk about. So I had a couple of texts and a couple of conversations with him, even once over the phone, about what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and try to make him comfortable. You know, watch some of our episodes. You know, check the format out, see how we do stuff, and that's it. And we've morphed into.
He seemed very natural about it, though. I mean, he seemed.
Yeah.
I mean, him and I really broke into like a whole baseball convo. Like,
didn't even have any idea where that came from, but all of a sudden they talk like 20 minutes on baseball. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. This is great. But this is exactly what the show needs to do. This is exactly where the creativity goes. We found out that Drew actually liked baseball, loves baseball, has loved it for years, and actually bets on baseball. But he loves it, and so does Robbie. So all of a sudden, we're talking about betting, and all of a sudden, the conversation goes 360, turns completely around onto these guys talking about, oh yeah, and they're mentioning a whole bunch of names that I didn't even know about. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't, and they're just talking about all kinds of stuff. But that's what makes the show the best. That's what makes it so exciting and so great to be on, is because that's what can happen here. And it's okay. We don't have to follow a certain format, and all of a sudden we run off the tracks, we run off the rail. There was one time, well, one of the funniest episodes I think we have, and I can't remember exactly what we were talking about. We must have been tired or something.
Probably.
Because or something, I don't know what it was. We just started laughing and we couldn't stop laughing. Every time we stopped and we were like, okay, we're gonna do this, we just kept laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. But that's part of the show. It's part of what we do. It's not stiff.
We have fun. We
do. It's not stiff like radio. It's not. There aren't people behind me going, you need to talk about this. Nobody behind me doing that. Robbie and I
we're our own
make
producers.
Up the show.
We're our own producers.
That's correct. We produce the show. So some of my most favorite episodes, one of my favorite episodes is absolutely that trivia. The last time Kyle was on, we did that trivia, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because we all were like guessing on things and we were getting them right, and all of a sudden it's like
we were stunned. We stunned each other. Like, how did I get that? Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was wild.
This is like great for video and radio, but I'm like, what's going on here? This is not happening. This is not real, but it is. But that's the beauty of it. That's why. I mean, that's one of my favorite episodes. The other episode that I really liked was when we had Donna on. Donna's one of my old professors from Emerson College, and she was in radio and she was in radio for a very long time. She was the one who founded Rush, the group in America.
What?
Yes. You mean you didn't watch that episode, Kyle?
Oh.
Just kidding.
How dare you, Kyle? How dare you?
You had her on. I didn't even know.
I thought we were friends.
Yeah, I thought we were friends. Cut him off right now, Robbie. No. So that's mute. Yeah, exactly. Show shaming. That's what we're doing now. Hashtag show shaming. So, but one of my favorite episodes, because the reason it was my favorite is because once you ask Donna a question, she answers it not with a couple of words. She answers the question.
A couple of paragraphs,
kind of in a dissertation form.
Yeah.
So it's not this one word answer. She never does one word answer. She just doesn't do that. But her explanation about how she founded Rush and stuff like that. By the way, if you haven't seen the episode, you gotta see the episode. This is really very cool. But what she did is she messaged me the next day because we sent her the link and all that kind of stuff. She said, "Oh, I just watched it. It was great. And I just have one question. And I have an apology. I'm apologizing." I'm like, well, what are you apologizing for? It was great. We had a phenomenal time. It was awesome. You so knowledgeable, and she knows about. She wrote a book on the Black Sox, and she knows lots about baseball. So Robbie and her were connecting big time. So she wrote me, and she was like, "I have to apologize." I'm like, Everything's fine. Everything was great. It was awesome. It was a great show, but I'm sorry for taking over your show. I said, Donna, you didn't take over the show. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with us asking her some questions and her just answering them very completely.
Yeah.
That's
all
it was great. That's all it was. She was phenomenal. She was great. It's wonderful. She was one of the best professors I ever had at Emerson. She's very knowledgeable. She knows about everything. Well, she's, by the way, she's also on WBZ, sometimes overnight, late night. Yeah. She was on last Friday. Yeah. She typically sends a message to us, the people that are on her Facebook page. She says, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to be on overnight on WBZ because they sometimes need to fill in, and she's there, and they know when they call her, she'll go on." But again, she was a phenomenal guest. But I love that because she was so worried that she had ruined our show. And it turns out that this is how we do our show.
Well, it's funny you say that because it sort of brought to mind to me the last episode, Rivers episode that we did, I should say. Our buddy Dan told some stories that were amazingly entertaining, including one about Doug.
Which I forgot about.
Yeah, which you forgot about.
Not so conveniently,
if you ever listened to that episode, it's episode 70. Give it a listen. But it was interesting because he actually messaged me the next day and was like, "Listen, I want to apologize if I talked too much. I get sort of nervous. I just sort of go." And I was like, "No, dude, you were awesome. You literally made the show. Like, it was perfect. Like, it was classic."
Our show is all about engagement.
Yes.
That's what it's about. It's about talking about a topic and engaging each other or engaging a guest, or that's what it's all about. And it's all about having fun. We try to make the guests as comfortable as possible. I know Drew was nervous, but as soon as he got on and all of a sudden, he started talking about stuff, he was fine. He was great. He taught us so much about betting, and I didn't even know half of the stuff. And he taught us about something that we haven't talked about yet in the 4 years that we've been around, because it's not something we do. So, but it's part of sport. So it was really cool to have him on to talk about that. And we just try to make people as comfortable as possible. But that's what our show is about engagement, engaging the audience, engaging the guests, engaging each other about different topics. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sports, but it has to be just engagement. So we like when you talk too much. You're supposed to talk too much in our show.
Exactly. I mean, I should be used to it at this point. Look who I have as a co-host over here. I mean, the king of talking too much.
That's like, true.
Sometimes
I'm
on my message will be like, "Can you shut up, please? Ask the damn question already." Like, we don't need a 500-word essay.
I'm working on that. I'm working on my long-winded questions.
No, I'm kidding.
Of course, but that's what makes it fun.
All in good fun. But no, you're absolutely right. So what I wanted to sort of go into, obviously, we love to talk about sports on the show. And, Kyle, Doug and I always like talk about sports among other things. But I kind of was curious to sort of delve a little bit into each of ours sort of personal sports history, so to speak. And what I mean by that is sort of what sort of our backgrounds are in terms of, playing sports, coaching, announcing, refereeing, so the whole 9 yards. And so, Kyle, since you are the special guest, I kind of wanted to start with you here to sort of take the folks at home through sort of what your history is sort of in terms of the world of sports, so to speak, as you've gone along here in this life.
Oh boy.
Not the next life, not the past life. But
this life.
You're talking about like athlete and coach, or just like
everything.
What you've done, everything.
Start at the beginning as an infant.
Well, I did do like infant track notes.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I did the little javelin but instead of like actual javelins, we threw like pencils, just like the best we could for an infant. So
sort of just any, it's sort of your like I said, sort of your personal sports history, so to speak.
Oh boy. I pretty much just when I was growing up, I was a big basketball and swimming fan actually. Those are kind of the bigger the probably the two biggest sports that I did competitively as a kid. Starting in like I'd say even like yeah, like kindergarten to elementary school. That's kind of when I did mostly swimming like starting kindergarten, but I didn't do basketball till about elementary school. And it wasn't until about oh geez, fifth grade or so, where I kind of started to dabble a little bit into track. And then I actually took it. Track was probably the sport I did the longest out of all the sports because I actually did it more competitively starting in. I did some track camps starting in eighth grade, and then it wasn't until high school where I did all 4 years then, and then I did 3 years in college. So, and that's the only sport I ever did in college. I never did any other sport. Um, you know, I don't think I could ever do like Division I football. No, 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 no. But I did actually, speaking of football, I did do it for a little bit. I did do, I ended up skipping eighth grade football, which Robbie did, as I'm sure you'll probably explain when it's your segment. But I started, yeah, freshman to senior year, and that was about it. I just did 4 years of football. That's, yeah. So it wasn't until high school where I really did like more competitive like sports like that, but I did do some, and I did a little bit of baseball too, like in elementary, middle school. I did like baseball a lot too. Like I liked going to the camps. I actually went to the Cape Cod Baseball League camp. They had it was back when the team was called the Hyannis Mets. So back when before they had to change the name to like the Thunder or Harbor whatever.
Harbor Hawks.
Yeah. I'm sorry. To me, there'll always be the Mets. So
true. No, definitely. But you're missing though one very important piece of your sports history where you and I kind of intertwined there. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, you're right. I was going more on the athlete angle, but yes, if we're talking like kind of in the coaching angle, then yes, we basketball was a big part of Robbie and I. Robbie and I is kind of like Robbie and I Robbie had a bit more of a longer coaching career, if you will, when it came to basketball and other sports, where I only did it for 2 seasons myself. So Robbie and I actually coached basketball during our sophomore year of high school. We had I think it was a team of like 9 to 10-year-olds, and then flash forward to actually post-college, post-grad, you could say.
It was a year after college, yeah.
Yeah, right. It was kind of cool because we both finished college and we were like, hey, do you want to just? I remember I forget how like this came up, but I just remember like
you want to coach again?
Yeah, we were just like, hey, let's do it again. And we're like, okay. So, but this time we coached a different age. We coached the older kids. So I believe it was like what, the 12, 13?
13, 14.
Right. Okay. So, which was funny because it was very different, obviously like when you coach elementary versus middle school, you got to kind of have a slightly different mentality, younger versus like the older kids, but they were both really fun. I really liked coaching both teams. I think I liked actually the second round the best because the first round I kind of went in and I'm just like, oh, I had no idea. I was 16 years old. I was like, I don't know how to coach a team. Like what the, I had no experience. But it was still a great year. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to knock that year. It was a great year. We had a great team. We had 2 great teams, for both years. But I really liked the second year, especially because it was kind of nice because when I went to college, I graduated in studio art, but also in education. So I had kind of a bit of a teaching background. So I was able to kind of like go into the second season of basketball that I coached more with like a teacher perspective. So right. With you and I, like having coached the season before, you and I had like a good rapport, I thought. So I thought we were able to, it felt kind of more natural, more smooth the second time around. So yeah.
Now, Kyle, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but there is one story from our second. There is one story from our second time around coaching that you've shared, I know, several times on a Couch Talking Sports that if you're willing, I'd love for you. I'd love for you to share here on the Sports Blitz, please. It's a great story.
All right, you're talking. You're talking the second season, right?
Yeah, I'm talking the first practice night of the second season. Yes.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, what a doozy. It was funny because I just remember it being one of the most frustrating moments of my life. That at that point. So basically, it all started with me driving to practice, right? So I'm hopping in my car. I'm like, hey, we're going to practice. First practice, this will be great. I'm like pumping my music on and just driving over there. I'm like, okay, just gotta get to that middle school. We had to get to this middle school in like Weston, I remember.
The Cambridge School of West. No, sorry, Meadowbrook School.
Yeah, Meadowbrook.
Yeah, Meadowbrook School.
So at the time, so our first practice was, it was already pretty dark outside because I remember it was like, our first practice was kind of like late fall, early winter.
Right.
So I just remember driving there and I took the turn that went right to the school. So it was on this left. So I took Commonwealth Ave, Route 30, and then I took a left onto that. And as I took this left, I saw signs that read like, "Oh, this is the Mass Pike exit," and it was so dark. It wasn't quite very well lit there, and they had some construction going on. And so what happened was I took a left there, and Robbie was actually behind me.
I was right behind you.
Yeah, Robbie was behind me. So it was funny because as I took this turn, and I thought, at the time I was making pretty good time. I think I was actually about to be there early.
Yeah.
So, and what happens is, I'm like, okay, this is the road. So I go on this road here, and I see Robbie taking a slight left. I'm like, oh, why is Robbie going that way? Huh? Okay, well, whatever. So I find out that I actually end up on the Mass Pike.
Yeah, Kyle managed to get on the Mass Pike on ramp instead of on the road.
Yeah,
I do have to say it was not completely your fault because there was like a little construction detour where you kind of had to like go up into the on the on ramp, but then off to the left to like get back to the main road. Unfortunately, you kind of continued on the on ramp.
It was a strange turn. I was like, okay, is this the left? Because I remember this was at the time where I don't even think my phone at the time. I may have even saw it. I barely even had like a smartphone at the time. I don't think we even had like a functioning GPS at that point. So I just kind of based it off of like the printed like MapQuest directions. So I just took that left. I'm like, they told me to take a left, so I just take this road. So I end up on the Mass Pike. So I call Robbie. I'm like, Robbie, I just saw you. I'm on the Mass Pike. Just to let you know. So I'll probably be a few minutes late. So I was expecting to go back. I was like, okay, I went on the Mass Pike. I made the turn, everything. I got off one of the exits. And so this gets even better, by the way. So you think after that, I was like, okay, I got the practice.
You get it the second time around.
Yeah. So what happened was I go back on ComAv, right? And I'm like, okay, let me try this turn again. So then I came from the other direction. I knew exactly where the turn was. This time it was at a right. And I'm like, okay, so I'll be able to make it maybe like 5 minutes late. So what happens is I make that turn again. And this time I go further in the road. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take that on-ramp that I took. So I took a different direction. Turns out it was the other on-ramp to the other direction of Mass Pike. So at this point,
oh my gosh.
I had thought in my head, like that road to get to the school was kind of like off of the on-ramp for whatever reason. That was what I had in my head. So I remember I took that. And then that's when I found out, I was like, oh, there is no other turn. Oh, nope. Okay. And so I found out I was going on the other direction on the Mass Pike. At that point, I had nearly lost it. I was so mad. I was like hitting my car seat next to me. I was so mad. And I was telling Robbie, I end up calling Robbie.
He calls me again, and I'm like, oh, what did you do?
Robbie knew right away. He was like, because normally
I think the first thing out of my mouth was like, you did it again, didn't you?
Like you know me, Robbie. Like if I had made it, you would have just seen me. I wouldn't have even called you. I would have just like shown up at the building at the school.
Exactly.
So right when you, I was like trying to keep my cool, but I was like Robbie could clearly hear that I was like really really angry, even though I was just like, hey Robbie, I took a wrong turn again. So I was just like. I could barely even speak at that point because I was so mad. I was like, I'll be a little longer, Robbie. I might.
You did make it. But long story short, you did make it to the end of practice, so you did get to meet the team for about 5 minutes.
Oh my!
It was the best. It was the funniest introduction because I'm just like picturing myself like arriving at the school. I'm just like shaking because I was so angry, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm here," and it was like the last 10 minutes of practice.
Yeah.
And I'm just like all out of breath, and like the kids just probably like looked at me like, "Is that our other coach? Oh, okay. He looks a little crazy right now." So
just a little, but it was now you can kind of look back on and laugh. But at the time, I can imagine you were quite. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
No.
I
love
we were talking about it. I felt like we had to. So I'm going to sort of take the spotlight off you now for a moment, turn over to Doug for sort of Doug's sort of personal sports history. So Doug, what are your thoughts on the matter?
Start out on Baby Olympics. No. I started, that's right. Throw the javelin and the shot put. Shot put was that little green ball I had. Anyway, no, that's not where I started. Started just in regular grade school, just, playing all the sports. I remember, the regular flag football and the baseball and, football, just learning the regular, we called it, that was gym. I mean, gym is totally different. Gym is like this adventure thing. You climb ropes and stuff. And I don't know, it's weird. I'm like, play baseball. I mean, that's what we did when I was growing up, play baseball, football, and basketball. And that's what we did. Yeah. Seventh and eighth grade come, and I'm sorry, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. I actually played USY basketball on the team.
Really?
USY, USY, United Synagogue Youth. We used to play different other USY teams, and I did that for 3 years. Very interested. Always loved basketball, so that was something that was very important. But and of course, when I was 10, I went to River State camp. So we were, it was a sports camp, so we were playing everything. As we get further, through, starting in high school, I didn't do anything until senior year. See, I wanted to get out of high school with a letter. So my friend and I, my buddy and I, decide that we're going to go do track. So, this is so weird because it's like spring track senior year. So, it's not like I've done this for 4 years already, for some I'm on the varsity team and I'm like, whatever. But I guess the way you got your letter is you had to be in a certain amount of meets. And they didn't have anybody to throw the shot put. And I did running. I did the 440 and the 440 relay. And I was actually in every meet. And my buddy, who really didn't concentrate too much on it, and I don't really know why he did it in the first place, he wasn't in every meet. I was in every meet, and I actually got my letter. I was able to get I was on the varsity team, and I got my varsity letter.
Cool.
Those guys made me look real good, though. Yeah, the 440 relay, we had these two twins, and they were incredible. By the time I had my chance to run around, and I was typically the anchor, so by the time I had the chance to run around, we were so way ahead of the other teams, of the other schools, that I could walk and it would be fine. Just the way they did stuff, they were so good at doing that. But I was in every single meet, and I got my letter, which was really great. So that was, senior year. After that, I think it's 1990 or so, I actually did a summer at a camp up in Bridgeton, Maine. And it was an overnight camp. And I was a coach of basketball there. That was one of my things that I did. And it was fun because we went and played other camps. And it was pretty fun. Actually, there is a picture of me. I'll show it to you guys later, but I don't have it on me, but it's probably downstairs somewhere in my big, huge box that has all my memories in it. It's me coaching. It's also there was a professional photographer who was there, and there's one with me spinning the ball on my finger, and you see the rotation of the ball. It's really cool. Anyway, it was very cool. That was about 1990 or so. I got lots of USY trophies too. We got trophies for just doing stuff. I don't think we ever won a championship or anything. I don't think we're that good. And in high school, I did play on the basketball team. In high school, in elementary school, I played in the basketball team too. There was two. And once I got out of college, it was not really. I was just Rivers after that, and just kind of, you play and you coach at Rivers. You do lots of different games there and stuff like that. Actually, when I was CIT, and that's during my high school years, we did, we played the regular games. And again, we had Jamie Rice on, and Jamie Rice knows those games we played, the pillow polo and the G-ball and the baseball and the football that, by the way, was flag football, and it turned out to be tackle. Within 5 minutes, we were freaking tackling each other. So it was, it turned out that we kept the flags on. We just tackled each other. It was hilarious. It was great. It was great though. I mean, that's the way. Can't do that today, these days, but back then it was easy to do. We actually played tackle. We played frisbee golf. We played tackle frisbee golf too. Oh my God, it was such a great game. We were just creative. We were just creative in what we did, but that's kind of where my best coaching days, whatever coaching days was. I loved coaching basketball. I loved it. We used to do it at Rivers too, Robbie. We used to, George used to set up some things at Rivers and some tournaments and stuff like that. We used to coach there too.
Don't mean to brag, but I am the 3-time Upper Boys basketball champ as coach at Rivers.
I knew once I brought this up.
3 times, man. 3 times.
Exactly. No, I totally get that.
I'm the Red Auerbach of Rivers Upper Boys basketball tournaments.
Yes, you are. You are. You're the king. You're the Michael Jordan of Robert.
John Wood, Mike Krzyzewski, Robbie Johnson. No big deal,
right? Robbie Johnson, right in a row, right there. There it is. But that's pretty much my playing and coaching times that I can think of. I grew up with a swimming pool, so I love swimming too, but I never did it. I never went on the swim team or anything like that. So, but I did teach swim. I taught swim for a while, so that's, I guess, coaching a little bit.
Cool.
I did teach swim, but other than that, that's pretty much it. How about you, Robbie? What's your list? Do we have time for your list right now? Or?
Yeah, no, right. Buckle up. How much time you got? I think for me, sort of growing up, I had 2 main sports from elementary through high school were definitely baseball and basketball. And listen, I was never a varsity level athlete or anything like that. I played, town basketball or CYO, basically through elementary school, middle school, high school. I did the best that I did was actually CYO for basketball wise was my 7th grade team. We went undefeated and lost in the finals, which was pretty epic. And then
you're on that list with the Patriots, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah. At least the Patriots didn't have to run into this kid from Framingham that makes Godzilla look small. Kyle knows exactly what I'm talking about because he had to face him the next year when he played the 1 year of CYO he played in Wellesley.
He was unbelievable.
He was just could hit threes, do everything. It was crazy. The ref joked that he saw me pulling up in his Lamborghini before the game and knew the game was over pretty much. That was a joke. This kid was in 7th grade.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, and then baseball wise, again played sort of in town leagues and rec leagues up through high school. I did win in my 7th grade team. It's interesting. 7th grade apparently was a big sports year for me because my 7th grade team won the title in baseball, which was really exciting. The one baseball title that I won as a player. And then sort of as I got into high school and then into college and after college, sort of got on to more sort of the leadership side of sports. Coaching a bunch. Baseball and basketball. I've sort of, for baseball, I've coached at the Little League all the way up through the high school level at various points. Basketball obviously has been youth basketball with Kyle and also for my younger sister's CYO and town teams, which was a lot of fun. I umpire as well. I've been umpiring for a number of years now. And I also announce, sort of as a side gig, I announce Wellesley High School games for the Wellesley channel and have done some also dabbled in sports writing as well. So, like I said, I've done a lot sports related on sort of a number of different fronts. And now obviously I get to co-host 2 awesome sports related shows, the Sports Blitz and On a Couch Talking Sports. So that's been kind of fun to sort of dabble in this new medium for me over the past few years doing that. But yeah, that's sort of me in a nutshell. Definitely, like I said, have been able to do a lot. It's been a lot of fun, for sure. So what I wanted to do now is that Doug has actually set up this really cool game for it's very exciting. Obviously we've done a lot of these games on past shows, and we thought, what better time to do another one than on our anniversary special. And so, Doug, I'm going to sort of turn it over to you to sort of explain and take us through what you have in store for us, because it sounds very exciting from how you were detailing it to us off air.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that we can do that's a little different. I know the love of trivia that we all have is always there. But sometimes, and I actually did initially, probably a few days ago, I looked up some trivia and it was the same trivia that we did the last time. I was like, oh,
we've kind of exhausted all that. Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. So I was trying to think of a game, and I heard this game, similar game, that one of the sports radio stations was doing this afternoon. And I said, hey, let me bring that up. So let me tell you what this game is all about. It's very, very interesting game. Basically, it's called Good or Bad. Okay. So, and these aren't just sports. These are all around different kinds of things. It's news. It does have a little sports in it. It does have some movie stuff in it. And what you're going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of like a statement. And what'll happen is that each of you will say whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. And then you'll give a little bit of an explanation of why you think it's good and why you think it's bad. It'll kind of be interesting to see if we all agree
Well, by the way, Kyle,
we
and by the way, I
disagree,
do have to point out, Kyle and I have not heard any of these before.
No.
We are going into this blind for 100%.
No, I did not send them any questions. I did not give any. There's no right. What's great about the game is
there's no right answer. No right or wrong answer.
No right or wrong answer. Yes, there's no right or wrong answer. It's how you feel, your opinion on it, and what you feel. And some of it is stuff that just happened, some local stuff, some national stuff. So I'm going to get on to the first one. Do you guys have any questions about the game at all? Because it's very
good.
It's pretty simple.
I'm ready.
Okay, I think we'll start with our guest first. I think we'll start with Kyle.
All right.
So as I don't know if you have heard in the news, and if you don't, I'll give you a little bit of background. Okay. We have had a tremendous amount of cold air way across the country, and including in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. Actually got a snowstorm, which is it's kind of rare. It's also rare for it to freeze, and it's been freezing down there, even colder than it is up here.
You never see that happen, right?
not that part of the country. Not that part of the country. Typically not. Every once in a while, you can get, Dallas will get some weather. Dallas can snow, but it typically doesn't freeze. And it's been in the 20s down there. I mean, it's really cold. And they had a nasty storm. Nasty. It wasn't a blizzard, but it was enough where they were trying to figure out what the heck to do.
Yeah.
So representative. His name is Ted Cruz. Senator Ted Cruz decides to go away with his daughter on a trip to Cancun, and his state is under a state of emergency. So the first question is to you: good or bad?
Just the whole thing.
Well, the fact that Ted Cruz went away for a whole day and left his state, which is under a state of emergency.
You know, it's funny because I was actually talking about this with one of my roommates earlier. So I would say bad, mainly because just in general, I would just kind of just kind of dial it back and just kind of say okay, just the whole idea of traveling for me is bad. I'm sorry, if you're gonna go on an airplane, like during these times, I would say just automatically that's a bad right away. So just because you're risking he's risking himself and he's risking his family, just for traveling, just for what he said he traveled for a day or something like that.
It was supposed to be for a couple of days, but I think he came back early. Supposed to be for a day. He didn't want his daughter to go down there by herself, and it was like a birthday present, or she was just want to go away, and it was for a day. And he's a representative in a state in which the state has an emergency going on, and there are people that are actually don't have electricity, they don't have heat, they don't have, and he's going away. Don't have water, they don't have anything. I found out from the national news that there are people up here that are actually contacting friends and family down there to tell them what to do because they have no idea what to do. We go through it all the time. We have electricity, but
it's literally snowing right now.
I think there's a snowstorm out there right now, but we're supposed to get 6 inches, but we're used to this stuff. Yeah. They're not used to it. There are houses. You've got to see these pictures, man. They're crazy. There are houses that have. I have a ceiling fan that you can't see, but there it is, right there. That have icicles that are coming down from the ceiling fans. There's water because it's melting now a little bit. There's water coming through these people's electrical sockets and units and stuff like that. They're freezing. They're trying to find water. They're taking snow, and we're telling them, we're giving them ideas about what to do. It's getting a little bit better there today, and they've had these rolling blackouts too because the power grid went down. They're not used to that kind of thing. So it's pretty bad, and it is what it is. But I just wanted to get an idea of what you thought of it, Robbie. What's your thoughts on Ted Cruz taking a little trip to warm?
I'm gonna go with bad as well. I just think it's a really bad look. Just even if he was doing it to help his daughter sort of take a trip and wanted to make sure she got there safely or whatnot. Just a really bad look for for United States Senator to sort of abandon his state, so to speak, during this. And I just really think it was the wrong way to go about it. So yeah, I'd say bad as well.
Well, it turns out tonight that they interviewed him tonight as he got back. They caught him in the airport.
Yes,
of course. And it turns out that he said, "Yeah, bad decision." Really, you think? So, question number 2, unbelievable. I sometimes people just make me laugh. Sometimes. So,
can't say I'm surprised though. Just I'll say that. Can't say I'm surprised.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, people sometimes don't think and they make mistakes, and that's what it is. So, anyway, question number 2. You know that we now have a COVID website. I don't know if you heard today, but the COVID website.
No.
Oh, the mass vax.
Yeah, for the vaccines. For the vaccines.
Where you can find your vaccine.
So people who are 75 and older can go to the website.
65. Well, now today it's 65.
Is it 65 now?
Yeah, today
okay.
Just starting there.
65 and older, and they can go onto the website, make an appointment, and go and get their first shots or their second shots, whatever. It's the first ones, I think, going out now. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, today the website crashed. 70,000 before it crashed. 70,000 people put their appointments in right before it crashed. Now, I'll tell you what happens later because I just got an update. But so it crashed today with 70,000 appointments. So Robbie, good or bad?
I'm gonna go with bad on that one. No, and listen, I mean, I could get into a whole thing about my thoughts on just this sort of mass vax website rollout just in general. I think there's a lot of flaws to it just in general, if I'm being honest.
There's a lot of flaws in a lot of things we're doing, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, we
could have a whole show on that.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that completely. I'll say that right now. I agree with you completely. Right. But again, that's for another time. We don't want to dive too far into politics here on the Sports Blitz, but that'll be on Politics Blitz or do spin off that's going to be coming out soon. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not a good look. I mean, especially on top of some of these issues that have already been happening, to have a website where people, it's the first day that they're able to, go on and try to get these appointments, and everybody really is trying to get the vaccine, to have it crash and then have the help number crash as well. From what I heard on the news, earlier this afternoon, it was
people already having problems when it first came out too. I mean, it's been an issue, big issue.
Like you said, it has had some flaws. So I just think for a number of different reasons, I definitely would go with bad on that one.
Yes. How about you, Kyle? Good or bad?
Oh, definitely bad.
Definitely bad. Well,
I'd love to hear somebody try to say good. I'd love to hear somebody try to make the justification for good on that one. Like,
there's no definition of that.
Anyway. Yeah. But I gotta say too, like, I'm not like completely surprised that it crashed though. Like, I think it's like, when they launched this site, it's like there's you launch a site like that, there's going to be a lot of traffic. So it's like, I think they definitely could have been maybe a little bit better prepared, or like maybe they could have thought of some like different plans of like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people coming in for that vaccine. So it's like,
well, they have to have a website that can support it. So obviously they didn't have enough, whatever. And I don't know the IT aspect of it, but they have to have a technology that can handle that many people, or even more than that many people. So it totally makes sense. But yeah, you're right. Totally right about that. I will give you an update. The good thing is that 60,000 of the appointments were actually saved before.
Oh, good.
Wow.
So that's just what I heard just lately. I just thought it was interesting. I just thought I'd throw that out there to you. This is just kind of a funny one. With all the stuff that's going on we're going to go with Kyle. With all the stuff that's going on in Texas, so good or bad, Texas needs to learn from us in New England. Good or bad?
That's an interesting one. Because it's just different. It's a different climate down there. I mean, this is I've been, when I saw the news, you have people from Texas saying they've never seen anything like this, and this person was in my 30 years of living here, I've never seen anything like this. So it's that's kind of a tricky one. I don't know. I don't know if I. Yeah, that's tough. I mean,
it is.
It's good to be prepared, but at the same time, if it's something that doesn't normally happen, then I don't know. I think you really have to weigh your options on that one. So
yeah, no, but it has snowed there. It hasn't, not to the extent in which it did this time.
Yeah,
but you got to have a system. If it can snow, you have to be prepared and make sure that system is up to date. You got to make sure that there's a plan in place. You got to make sure, because it can snow in Dallas. Dallas has snowed before. Houston, it snowed before. Typically way down south, like in Galveston, stuff like that. I don't think it's ever really snowed, but still it's gotten chilly there before. You got to be prepared for these kinds of things, but I totally get it. They have a totally different aspect of kind of, what their weather is versus what we are up here. That's why everybody's asking relatives and friends, what the heck what do I do? What do I do in this situation? They're just really not prepared. And I think if you've had it before, which they have, they've had freezing rain and they've had snow. They have to have some kind of preparedness of knowing. I mean, we never had tornadoes except for the last 5 years. We probably had a good dozen of them. And they haven't been serious, but still, we got to be prepared for that too. We just had one in Revere a year ago. Revere is right next to where I live, and there was one that touched down. It was a Cat 1, and you have to be prepared for something like that. And we don't get them up here. We're not Kansas. We're not Texas. We don't live in that belt, that tornado alley, sort of speak. But we have to be prepared. They have to tell us what to do. That's right. We don't know what to do. So it's one of those things where you're totally right about that. Robbie, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's good because from what you guys were just saying, I think it's good that they learn from us, because I wish they would learn from us in a lot of different aspects of life. But again, that's a whole different aspect, story for a different time. But no,
well, Texas, Louisiana, and who else? At least Texas, Louisiana, and maybe Alabama just totally turned us off. But go ahead.
Sorry.
I completely agree, Robbie.
Yeah, thank you. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, it never hurts to be prepared, and for the possibility that something like this could happen in the future, I think that we could give them a lot of strong, sort of helpful tools to prepare for this in the future. So what's happening down there right now, never happens again in a future situation. So I think actually it's kind of a good thing that they sort of take advice from the states up north, so to speak.
Yeah, and if it happens, at least they know what to do.
Yeah.
They have an idea of what to do. This is what you do when you hear that there's a storm coming. Guess what? Go get some water. Go get some bottled water. Get some egg. Get some milk. Get some. And if you can't do it, you stick it outside. It's cold enough outside. You stick the stuff in the snow. It'll stay. I mean, people do it all the time. I mean, there's certain things that they're not used to being in the kind of weather that they are. So it's a little tough though. Kyle's right on the fact that, they don't have that kind of weather down there, so they're not prepared, and it makes sense. But on the flip side of it, they have had some weather down there. Some of it more serious than what we've had up here, tornadoes and such. And they just have to be prepared. And if we can show them and tell them and make them learn and have them learn different things that they can do, then then yeah, maybe Robbie's right in the fact that it's good that they learn. So it makes sense.
Yeah, no,
So,
honestly, after hearing you guys like talk about that, I definitely have to agree with both your views on that. Like, especially because it's interesting because when you look at when Obama was president and he had his actually he had like a virus task force that he set up, even though he hadn't had like a serious like virus or a serious pandemic like happen for the longest time. When he was throughout his presidency, we didn't have a pandemic in the U.S., but he had the force there anyways in case we did. So no, actually, that's a very good point. Yeah,
exactly. You just have to be prepared for what. I mean, everybody, when you hear about a storm, and we're having one right now, actually. But when you hear about a storm, you go, well, I went out today, and I grabbed some stuff that we needed. And you just do that. You go through and you see if you make sure you have enough water and batteries and all kinds of stuff. You just get prepared. You need to do that, and they need to do that too. And I think they do for certain things, but not for what they got. Not for frozen, cold, wet snow. They don't prepare for that because they don't have it all the time. They do prepare for tornadoes. They prepare for them all the time. And thunderstorms and if lightning strikes and the power goes out, they're prepared for that stuff, I'm sure. But not for what they just got. But they need to be prepared for that because this can happen again. And it has snowed there, and they used to, there was, I think it was like 10 years ago, there was like freezing rain down there. They were just all over the place, all in the South. Even hit northern Florida. I think Tallahassee and Florida had no idea what to do. They were slipping and sliding everywhere. Like, I'm going out, I don't care. Whoa, here we go. I'm in the ditch. So they don't have any idea. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that question in because I didn't think it was going to be much of a. I thought it was going to be a yes or no, but it turned out to be good. So the next question number 4. The NBA has decided to have a All-Star game. Good, bad. Who just went? Oh, Robbie. We'll go with Robbie first. Robbie, what do you think? NBA All-Star game?
As much fun as I enjoy watching, any sort of sporting event, I'm going to say bad. I just don't think it's a good look to be bringing all the players from the different teams together, even if there's no fans and no social events. I don't think from a just pure looks point of view, I just don't think it's necessary. I know the NFL did away with the Pro Bowl this year for sort of because of what's going on. There's ways to sort of virtually, recognize the stars of the game, so to speak. I just don't think it's necessary, and I just hope that it's not going to create more of a risky situation than it is benefit the league. So yeah, I don't think it was the right move for the NBA to push forward. I'm going to say bad on that one.
Kyle, what do you think?
I'd have to agree with you, Robbie. Just because, pretty much what you said. Like, because the thing is, I work. So my school, the way we're set up, we have 4 different classrooms, and we're kind of looked at as like pods, and kind of like, well, I just think that with this whole kind of pod situation that we have at our school, we don't really we don't have the classes like meet together on the playground. We used to do that. We used to have 2 different classrooms at the same time on the playground, but we don't really do that anymore. Everyone has like kind of their own time where they go out. And then when we come back in, we mainly stay in our classrooms because it's like, and I think for that reason, I just don't think it's kind of strange that the NBA is doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Robbie. So
yeah, no, that totally makes sense, and I actually agree with both of you on that. I think to have an NBA All-Star selection, I think is a good idea to decide who would be on the All-Star game. And I know that there are NBA players who have expressed their doubt about not just going, playing, being in it. I think they're excited about, maybe possibly, when you get the All-Star, name attached to your own name, it's always a great thing. But I think that's definitely an issue considering, all the stuff that's continuing to go on. And you're right, Robbie, bringing all those players from different places all together in one place. Now, if they had the bubble like they did last year,
true,
that
would be a different story. I agree with that. Yeah,
totally different story. That wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
But now that they're in their own cities and stuff like that,
yeah,
I just think it's really not a good idea. And we'll see what happens with that, coming down the road. Our own Jason Tatum, our next question, our own Jason Tatum has made the All-Star team, which good or bad? Kyle, what do you think?
Who's Jason Tatum again?
Yeah, again, we do have to point out that we were talking about Kyle's sort of, I don't know, not lack of proficiency, but kind of his.
I thought he was a basketball guy, so I thought he would at least know who Jason Tatum was.
No, basketball. Kyle basketball is probably the least sport.
Oh, excellent. That's great.
More playing wise than watching.
Kyle, just agree with me, and you'll be all good.
Yeah, Robbie. Well, let's go to you. Let's channel to you.
I think it's good. I mean, hey, listen, I really like Jason Tatum's a great young player for this team. He's been, great for several years now since he's come into the league. I think he's continuing to play well. I think it's a very good thing that he's, being recognized yet again as an all-star of this league. Yeah, definitely good.
Kyle, do you agree?
Yeah, sure.
No, I think it's great. I think he's played very well. I think he's played definitely at an all-star level and definitely deserves to be an all-star. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Our next question. We're gonna start with Robbie this one. Chris Sale is actually on schedule to return to baseball and the regular starting of activities. And looks like he's on schedule to return. Good or bad, Robbie?
I'm gonna say good. But I will preface that by
cautiously
saying,
good.
Yeah, I think it's cautiously good. Exactly. I think cautiously good is a perfect way to put it. And I kind of mentioned this on our last episode. I'm very intrigued to see, how Sale comes back after missing, a full year due to Tommy John surgery and sort of what impact that has on him coming back, much like I'm very intrigued to see Eduardo Rodriguez coming back after his bout with COVID last season, missing all of last season on obviously two different situations there. But I'm going to, like you said, Doug, I'm going to say cautiously good. It's good that he's on track for sure. I'm just very intrigued to see what that progress looks like when it comes to him actually getting back up on a mound in a game situation. So
probably makes sense. Kyle,
I'm gonna have to go against you, Robbie. I don't want to buy into that Sale. I just wanted to say that. So I really have no idea.
Wow. Oh jeez.
Fun city on that one, man.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Hold on, give me a tomato. Hold on, I'm gonna virtually throw a tomato at you.
Wow. Whoa, good duck. Wow, that was
head.
It was just the starting of being off the rails.
Knock some sense into you.
All right. So we're gonna go on to a question. This is for Kyle.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm actually curious, Kyle, what is your legitimate answer to that question?
Oh, see, I wouldn't have gone there, man.
And right there. All right, we'll end it right there.
I was trying to. I had a feeling. So this is what's for this one's for Kyle. In 2021, just found out today. I think the trailer is out today. Kyle, they're making, good or bad? They're making a new Mortal Kombat movie. Good or bad, Kyle?
Oh, that's like beyond great. I can't even say good. I'm just gonna say it's like good times like 1,000. It's
perfect question for Kyle. I had a feeling. It's all right. I had a feeling you were gonna say it was great. So Robbie, Yeah, go ahead.
I love that trailer. Sorry, I just have to say fun fact about that movie.
I hear there's a lot of blood. Is there a lot of blood?
It is. So the interesting
Sorry.
thing, so the 90s version was more of a PG-13 movie. So I guess you could kind of bring your kid to that movie, and it's kind of a harmless movie. It's very cheesy. This movie, don't bring your kids to see it. This is a hard R. This is like limbs are flying off, and like
Nice.
people are getting frozen, like Sub-Zero's like throwing his like tentacle thing into you. Get over here, and it's batshit crazy. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
But one of the fun facts about this, I actually met one of the stars of that movie in real life. Did I tell you guys this?
You
No.
might have.
I had never heard that.
So the guy who plays, I don't know if you saw the trailer, the guy with like the robotic arms, the guy's name is Jax. He actually, so the actor also plays he played Jimmy Olsen on the Supergirl TV series. He was also on Friday Night Lights, the TV series, and True Blood. His name is Mikad Brooks. I actually met him in real life. I went to Comic-Con one year, right when Supergirl was, it was like season 2 Supergirl was out. And I had talked to him. He's like one of the nicest dudes, but it was just really cool. I only talked to him for like a minute because he had like a huge line of people that wanted to talk to him too, obviously, but it was really cool. So I had met one of the stars in the new Mortal Kombat movie. So sorry, I just wanted to, yeah.
Very
No,
cool.
that's all right. That's all right. So
that is a very good thing. That was
Yeah.
a very good thing.
So Robbie, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree
Good or
with
bad?
Kyle. Kind of like with him and me in basketball, I'm going to completely agree here and say it's a great thing, and not go any further with it because I have no idea. I probably will never see this movie just because that's just me personally. But I'm gonna say it's great. I'm gonna agree with Kyle.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I totally agree too. Any kind of movie that shows arms flying off and tentacles that are frozen going into bodies is always a good. So why not? I mean, sure. So the next one is for Robbie, and we just have a couple more.
Yeah.
It turns out, good or bad, it turns out that the Red Sox are carrying the second highest payroll in Major League Baseball. Oh, Robbie, good or bad?
All right, let me get up on my soapbox here.
I knew this was a good question for Robbie. That's why I asked it.
Bad. It is bad. It is beyond bad.
Here it comes, people.
You have the second highest payroll, and yet you have given up Mookie Betts. You've given up Andrew Benintendi. You overpaid for Chris Sale. You overpaid for David Price, who you also gave up. I can't even. I'm so flustered. It's a great question, by the way, Doug.
Yes.
It's a great question. I'm so flustered by my answer to this question that I'm fumbling around my answer to this question. It's just bringing up so many of these. Just my mind is just like erupting like a volcano.
I think I just broke Robbie.
Yeah, I think so too. It took 73 episodes, but he finally broke me.
He's done.
No, it's bad. It's bad because they're cheaping out in the areas where they shouldn't be. They are cheaping out. Whether they have the second highest payroll or not, they should be doing a lot more than they are, and it just is thoroughly frustrating the hell out of me. So I'm gonna say it's really bad.
I have a feeling
Really
that
bad.
we're going to be talking about that very soon. I have a feeling that Robbie is going to spend a lot of time on that one. So
in upcoming episodes, definitely, yes.
I have a feeling. So Kyle, what do you think of the Red Sox having the second highest payroll in Major League Baseball? Good or bad?
So I'll put into like a comparison. So I agree with Robbie, definitely bad. It's like the movie Pacific Rim 2. Did you guys ever see that one?
No.
No,
Okay.
I don't think I saw that.
So just imagine this movie. The first one was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Monsters versus giant robots. So you take that budget. The second
cool.
movie, right? It's a great concept, right?
I gotta
So
watch that movie.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely watch the first one. The first one is like incredible. It's just a fun popcorn movie. Like you'll have a blast. But the second one, they have this budget, right? They have a great budget. The effects look really nice, you know, and they still got the robots. And they got the giants, like the lizard giant things, like Godzilla, and like you have this concept that you're like, okay, we can try to make a movie out of this, right? But no, the story just becomes terrible. It's like you have all this money, and you don't know what to do with them. You have Charlie Day, who's a really funny actor. He was a great presence. He was in the first movie, and I really liked him in the first movie, and they just completely ruined his character in the second movie. If you ever see it, I'm not gonna get too much into it, because if you see it, you'll know why. But they just completely ruin his character, like every way, shape, or form. You have you have everything there. You have the budget, you have the actors, you have the right setup, but the movie just ends up becoming like, to me, that's kind of what the Red Sox were.
Or in this case, you fire / get rid of all the A-list actors that have contributed to your success in the first movie.
Oh yeah. That's Idris Elba, who was in the first movie, is definitely not in this one. So, but then again, anyways.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. That's actually very good, Robbie, the way you said that.
That was
definitely good. Do I think it's good? No, I don't. This is what they didn't want to do, and Robbie's absolutely right about giving up the farm, the store, the people.
You've
people
given
that
up
you there.
The problem is that, Doug, the problem is you've given up the farm, and then you've also given up the main attractions.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. That's the next thing I was saying.
You've given up both ends of the spectrum here.
Yes, absolutely. and just so they didn't have to pay a luxury tax, which they could pay 12 times over and not have a problem. So it's just again,
Why do you do this to me?
Robbie,
we're having a very nice anniversary special, and you bring up the Red Sox. You knew this was gonna.
It's a game, man. It's just a game.
You play to win the game.
No, don't play. This is not a game to win. This is just an opinion thing.
I know. I just had to quote.
Oh man, we're totally gonna be talking about this. Definitely. So, we got last question for Kyle. So this question is kind of like a triple, well, not a triple question, but it's a one question about 3 different things. So we talked about movies before, and there are 3 other movies that are coming out in 2021 that I want. I think you know them. I think you know them. There are 3 other movies that are coming out in 2021 this year that I want your opinion, whether you think it's good or whether you think it's bad. Not that they're out now and you've seen them, or even if you've seen them, I just want to know whether, I don't think they're even out yet. I don't think. They're coming out very soon, I think, but I'm not sure. I didn't check on that, so I apologize for that. But the 3 movies are the Spongebob movie, Tom and Jerry's movie, and Coming to America #2. Good or bad?
Which one should I start with?
Start with whatever you want to start with, whatever you want to go with.
Okay, so you said the first one was SpongeBob?
SpongeBob, yep.
Okay, so the funny thing is I had no idea that there was a SpongeBob movie being made.
Seriously?
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of yeah. You got me there.
I definitely I listen, I don't stump Kyle too often about movies, so this is pretty good. Feel real good right now. Yes, there is a SpongeBob movie coming up.
So I have a whole bunch of different opinions for these movies. SpongeBob, I would say it's a very mild good. You know, it's a new SpongeBob movie. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. You know, I'm not gonna I haven't really watched SpongeBob for quite a while, but I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun to watch. So a very mild good. I'll put mild good.
Kind of a mid good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The next one was Tom and Jerry's.
Tom and Jerry. Yeah.
I don't know.
Kyle's having his moment now that I
wait. Did I break Kyle? Oh my God! I didn't think this game was going to be so. Wow! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I'm probably going to hard pass that movie. I just
broken. He's done.
There's just like I like that they used the original designs. I thought that was kind of a cool idea, I guess. But like I guess they kind of made it look a little bit like Roger Rabbit in a sense. Like so I guess I like kind of like that aesthetic. But at the same time though, I just don't see the whole point. Like why? You know, it's just one of those, to me, it's just one of those cash grab movies. It's just like, oh, we're going to bring back Tom and Jerry. Here you go. Kind of like the way they did like Scooby-Doo. We're going to make Scooby-Doo like a random character, and then we're going to have a famous actor with them just because they're famous. So to me, it's just like, I really don't care. I'm not going to, no, hard pass.
And the last one was the Coming to America, #2.
Okay, that one I will 100% see. That is a great. I am all about it. I actually just watched the original just this past weekend, and
for the first time.
Well, for the first time in a while. It's been a while since I've seen it. I had seen it like a while back, like a long time ago. I kind of forgotten like most of what happened in the movie, unfortunately. But I just remember like just seeing it this time. It holds up really well. So I really do have a lot of high hopes for the sequel. I'm glad it's like, and I'm glad it's like coming out on a streaming service. You can just kind of like, you know, it's kind of nice that it's on Prime. You can just kind of watch it. You don't have to like pay like some of those movies, like they have those huge rental prices. You have to pay like $20 to just rent the movie for like a day or whatever. This one, it's just like, no, it's coming out on Prime. You can just kind of watch it whenever you want. And I like that. And I'm excited to see Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall return. And the funny thing is those two look like they've barely aged since the first movie, which was 30 years ago. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, the first one's definitely a classic. So
yeah,
thing to see what the
great movie. So yeah, I'm 100%. I'm all about Coming to America. So
excellent, Robbie. What are your thoughts? I know I broke you, but in the last question, but
I fixed myself up. I'm doing all right now.
You bionic now?
Oiled myself up
we can fix him.
We can exactly. But hey, listen. Movies is Kyle's specialty right here. I always tend to take my cues from him when it comes to the movie front. So I'm gonna give a flat agreement across the board agreement there on Kyle's reviews there. So yeah, I'm gonna go straight up with whatever Kyle said. I'm with.
You're picking back. You're doing the.
I'm piggybacking off Kyle again. Yeah.
Seriously, you're really gonna do that.
Yeah. I have no fresh opinions on this matter.
You don't want to fight me on the Tom and Jerry thing? You don't want to defend that movie's honor or anything like that, or no?
Not at all. No interest whatsoever.
Okay. All right. Well, that's excellent. So I got two more. More. This one's going to who just did the last one? Kyle did. Kyle.
Oh, sorry.
This is going first to Robbie. So NASA today, NASA, that's NASA, preservation rover safely lands on Mars after a 292.5 million, I didn't say thousand, I said million-mile journey from Earth in search of signs of ancient life on the red planet. It took 8 years for it actually to get there. It landed successfully. Great landing. They have it on film and all that kind of stuff. So just wanted to know, good or bad?
I don't know how a person could say bad in this situation that we landed something on Mars.
Costs a lot of money.
What?
Costs a lot of money.
I'm still gonna say it's really good. I think it really shows
that's why it's a question.
I think it sort of shows the scientific capabilities of the U.S. and when we put our mind to something, what we can accomplish, and I think it's a really good thing for sure.
Excellent, Kyle. What do you think?
I'd say it's I would definitely say it's really great. I think it's really cool that like Robbie said, like that, we were able to accomplish such a feat like that. But I would say bad if it turns out to be like the movie Alien, where they go on the planet, but then they find like an egg and like it attaches itself to someone to like you know, the machine or like someone's face or something like that, then that would be really bad. But
yeah, that would be bad. Yeah, that would be
I
bad.
watched
I don't think there's any humans there. It's just it's a rover, and they mechanically rove it around. They take pictures. Supposedly they got some great pictures. My thoughts are is that what we do as humans is we explore, and this was next. And I think it's awesome. And yeah, it does cost a considerable amount of money, but we put that aside.
Cost money though.
Like, well, I'm just saying we put it aside. So, and that's fine. But that's the other part of it is that we could be using that money to do something else, and that's what the other side of it is. I don't necessarily think that way, but we explore as humans, and that's why I think it's definitely a good thing. And I look forward to, and I've always been fascinated with other planets and stuff like that. And I look forward to seeing pictures and hopefully new discoveries. Maybe you never know.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
The Robbie alien is probably there trying to figure out what the Red Sox are doing. So,
oh boy, yeah. Yep.
So last question, and it's actually a made-up question, but I wanted to know what your thoughts are, and it's a made-up question because I have no idea whether it's true or not. I just made it up because I thought it would be a funny last question. Maybe it's not funny at all, and maybe I totally went awry here, but I think it's pretty funny. At least I do. President Biden woke up this morning and had eggs this morning for breakfast. Good or bad?
Who's go first?
I think this is Kyle's question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say awesome because eggs are great.
Because what?
Because eggs are great.
Okay, eggs are great. I definitely broke Kyle. I totally broke him. Okay.
I think.
There you go.
Hey, listen. I think it's great as well. Eggs are great. They're very healthy and nutritious and I don't know, delicious. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think it's really good.
Yeah, I asked the question.
I think it's great. I think anything he does is great. So I'm gonna say great.
Oh my God, Robbie. Oh my God.
Had to drop that in there.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna disagree with both of you.
Oh.
Ooh.
And the reason I'm going to disagree with both of you is because how old is our president?
He's 78, isn't he?
78 years old. Do we know if he has cholesterol problems or not? Because eggs are bad for people who have cholesterol problems. Very bad, especially for a 78-year-old. Now, my grandmother, who lived to be 104, she ate whatever she wanted. Eggs, whatever, cream, whatever, didn't matter. But what I'm saying is that for a 78-year-old president, it may not be a good idea. So have some cream of wheat or some oatmeal or something else, but I'm not sure if eggs are a great idea.
By the way, for the record, we don't know if he actually had eggs for breakfast this morning. I just want to point out to our listeners, we don't actually know if he had eggs for breakfast this morning.
That's why I asked the question.
I know, but we're literally going to start
something that actually didn't happen.
We are literally going to start the latest conspiracy theory online. The latest Twitter conspiracy theory is going to be based on this show. It's going to be President Biden ate eggs for breakfast this morning.
And is it good for him or not?
Yeah.
Because we don't know his medical history, so we have no idea. He may have no cholesterol problems at all. So we don't know. But that's why I asked it, because now we're talking about it and it's funny. So that's why I asked it.
That was a good one.
Good conversation starter. I like that.
Hold on, I got one. This is a pretty easy answer, at least for me. Doug's questions, good or bad? I'm gonna go double thumbs up.
Good much. I actually had more. I had 20 of them, but I decided to come down a little bit. So the other questions are there. We'll do them next time. But that's the end of good or bad.
Well, thank you, Doug. That was awesome. That was a great way to sort of liven up our anniversary episode here, and very happy. So now I want to sort of start to wrap things up here on our anniversary episode, like we do on every episode. It's the only thing that we do it on the anniversary special, with a final thought for the night for episode number 73. Again, our 4-year anniversary special here on the Sports Blitz. And Kyle, since you are the guest of honor tonight, I'll let you go first with sort of your final thought for your appearance here tonight.
All right, so my final thought, this one's not going to be sports related. This is going to be actually about a movie that's coming out pretty soon.
By the way, final thoughts could be anything. It doesn't
exactly. No, I know. I'm just saying. This is
final
not surprising at all.
Just your final thought for the evening. That's all.
Right.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like how you guys approach that. Nice.
Another comfortability from this.
Nice. So I wanted to comment on, I don't know if a lot of you know, so they're releasing a brand new cut of the Justice League. So I don't know if you remember, there was a Justice League movie that came out in 2017. And yeah.
What?
And you know, it had like, it united all of DC's heroes, but then when people saw it, they were like, yeah. It was okay. It was 2 hours of, it wasn't the worst movie, but it wasn't the greatest movie either. But what they're doing is they're taking Zack Snyder. He's the guy who directed that, or who originally was supposed to direct that full movie, but then eventually he got, like, stuff happened, and they brought on Joss Whedon to direct that movie. And what happened was Zack Snyder didn't get to complete his vision. So what they're doing now is on HBO, in about a month, they're going to release Zack Snyder's true, real version of Justice League. And I think that's really cool because I feel bad when directors, when they make a movie and then the production companies, like they get in the way. Warner Brothers, I think, really got in the way of this movie. And they just kind of took his idea and just kind of tossed it away. And they just were like, oh, let's make the studio-led version. And I think it's really cool that we finally get the real version of this movie, which also happened with Richard Donner when he made Superman 2. He wasn't able to finish the movie because the producers kicked him off. And they said, hey, you know what? It took 20 years, but they finally got his movie made too. So I always support when people like Richard Donner and Zack Snyder finally, you know, get their full version of the movie that was supposed to be made, you know? So, yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely look forward to it. Seeing how that progresses. Yeah, Doug, what is your final thought for tonight's episode?
My final thought is I want to keep going. No. I just, it's an anniversary episode, so I won't keep going. My final thought is that I'm so glad that we had Kyle on for our anniversary issue, 4 years, very deserved of the thought process. And by the way, when we thought about what we could do for the 4-year anniversary, the first thought that came to our head was not a game, was not anything, but let's get Kyle on. So that was our first thought. So, but I'm so glad that you're on. Have so much fun with you. You have great opinions that totally differ from both of us, and we love the fact that you're interested in other things other than sports, like we are too. You know, we're just glad that you're here. And so that's the first thing. And the second thing is that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm very much looking forward to the future of the Sports Blitz and seeing where we can take it, and having not just you part of it, also Kyle, but more guests we are starting to line up more guests for the future. We're starting to get into some other things that are going to happen on the show, the presentation wise also. So we're just very excited for the future of the Sports Blitz, where it's going. And again, thank you so much, Kyle, for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. This has been such a great opportunity, and I always love coming on your show because you guys I said before, I just love you guys. Just have such a welcoming environment, and I think it's really nice that whoever comes on, whatever kind of knowledge they have, like you guys do a really good job at just really letting everyone like join in the conversation, and it's just an honor to be part of the show, so
Well, it is certainly an honor and privilege to have you. Yeah, my final thought is kind of in line with what Doug said, is that it has been an amazing run so far of doing this show. Again, 73 episodes, 4 years now. It has just been a ton of fun to do, and to see it sort of expand, obviously from, Doug and I sitting on my couch or on his couch, recording on a computer, to now still recording on a computer, but recording via Zoom and being able to do video, even when Zoom and I have a love-hate relationship. But we're not going to get too far down that rabbit hole again. But I think that it is, I am very excited for the prospect of where this show is going. I am very excited to see what is in store for us. I think we've got a lot of exciting ideas in the coffers here, ready to go.
Hey, Robbie, I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt,
No,
but I just wanted to ask you, when we did our last Rivers episode, you had texted me something that was totally incredible, and I didn't realize what was going on. But what were the final views for that particular episode?
Yeah, so our last Rivers episode, last time I checked, was at 75 views, which was the most of any.
We've never had
any video-based show episode that we have put out so far, which was incredible. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, we have a lot of help getting out the word on the Rivers episode.
Yeah,
a lot of people that are connected to Rivers,
and we definitely have a lot more
that are actually sending the links to people to watch.
And we definitely have a lot more Rivers episodes coming down the pipe as well. But no, just like I said, I'm very excited for where we are going with this show. I think we're gonna have a lot more just fun. I mean, it's just this is what this is. This is fun. This is us just getting together, talking sports, and having fun doing it. Having fun talking sports with your friends, like you would do, any other time, whether it be in person or via text or whatever the case may be. And it's been great to go through this for the last 4 years, and I can't wait for many more to come. So yeah, that is my final thought for the evening. And our next episode will be episode number 74, which we will have a lot more excitement, sort of talking about, as always, the latest goings on in the sports world. Like Doug was saying, we've got some guests sort of starting to line up for down the pike here, and just very excited for it all. So please continue to tune in. Again, we are on SoundCloud, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on our YouTube channel. Again, getting some rave views and reviews for our episodes up there. Again, it is Sports Blitz is the name of the channel. Definitely give us a watch,
and hit the bell,
like, subscribe. Definitely appreciate the support as always. So that is going to wrap it up for episode number 73 of the Sports Blitz. As again, thank you so much to Kyle for coming on. We really appreciate it. For Kyle and for Doug, I am Robbie, and we will catch you next time here on the Sports Blitz. Bye, everybody.